Glad to have you with us here on Seattle Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones here. Seahawks Rookie Minicamp wrapped up this past weekend. And on today's show, we'll look at the winners and losers from Rookie Minicamp. Before we do, though, we want to send a big welcome to your newest rookies of your Seattle Seahawks and get the good vibes going for these young guys. Certainly excited to have them a part of the organization. Like the video to show them some love as they begin their journeys with the Seattle Seahawks. And who knows, they might be watching, their friends, their family. We want to make sure the 12s are heard loud and clear that we support these guys, we're rooting them on, and wish them nothing but the best as they begin their NFL careers. All right, let's get started with the winners list. I got to get going with the one and only Byron Murphy. And I got to tell you, the more I learn about Byron Murphy and that we talk about his arrival here in Seattle, the more excited I get, as this weekend he did not disappoint with the small sample size that we got to see. Everything from what Mike Macdonald had to say, his head coach, to even the media, the likes of Brock Heward with Seattle Sports and Fox Sports. He had some strong words to say, very positive, that we'll get to here in just a moment. Let's start with the head coach, Mike Macdonald. He said this: "We're not going to crown him right now like he's the next best defensive tackle of all time, but we're really excited about it. He shows all the bend and the strength at the point of attack and acceleration." Brock Heward had this to say about Byron Murphy as well. "You can talk about this guy's physique. You can talk about his power. Honest to God, Byron Murphy's legs are redwoods. They're tree trunks. They are massive. And because of it, the power he gains from the ground is just different and unique. I think that certainly the talk of camp, how powerful Murphy looks." And so, as you can tell, the hype is real when it comes to Byron Murphy. As this pick, everyone was excited about at the time, not just filling a big need for the Seahawks at the defensive tackle spot, the interior of the defensive line, but the run defense factor we've talked a lot about. But just looking at what Byron Murphy is so far to this point, from the tape to the measurables, and now already what we've seen this weekend, the hype is real. And now, can it all come together? Can he live up to the hype? That's the next question. But it seems like everything is headed in the right track for Byron Murphy as he begins his tenure here in Seattle. So let's ask you in our pinned comment today, are you buying into the hype on Byron Murphy? Do you believe? I believe. I'm all in. I'm excited about Byron Murphy. Let us know what you think. B for believe, D for don't. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. Choose two or more players on any given category. Get the choice of more or less, whether you're talking the likes of fantasy points, maybe it's rebounds in basketball, goals in hockey, home runs in baseball, all sorts of different categories to choose from. And I'm looking at some NBA playoff action tonight, as I got Michael Porter Jr. to have less than 18.5 points for the Denver Nuggets. As a KU guy, of course, I got to pick against Michael Porter Jr., the Mizzou Tiger. Sloppy Toppin, Opie Toppin. I think he'll play better than advertised. I got him hitting more than 10.5 points and assists. If I put $20 down and this hits, we're turning into $60 on Prize Picks, folks. Play along with me. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Promo code CLNS for a $100 deposit match on your first entry. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Prize Picks, proud partner of Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Glad to have them on board here on today's show. Next up, we go to the linebacker position as we find Tyrice Knight, the Seahawks' fourth-round selection out of UTEP. And there was a great unknown when it came to Knight of who exactly he was and what he was bringing to the Seahawks. We know about him leading the country in solo tackles with 140 and leading Conference USA in total tackles. But beyond that, there is a big mystery, if you will, of who exactly he's going to be and what he's going to bring to the Seattle Seahawks. We know that he's got some work to do in coverage, And what type of project is this, if you will, that the Seahawks are taking on with the selection of Knight, who's going to take over for Devin Bush as one of the main backup off-ball linebackers. Mike Macdonald had this to say about Knight of what he was able to do this weekend. I think he brings some thump at the point of attack, and then when we brought him in, we got to meet him, and we just really liked the person and the competitor. His demeanor is soft-spoken right now, but I think he's a very clear communicator, and then just a guy throughout the process we started to really like. Linebackers are paid to make tackles. He makes a lot of tackles, so that is a good thing. So with that, when you look at Knight, there's no denying that this is a project that the Seahawks are taking on. I think that I would be surprised if Knight is going to be, of the Seahawks draft picks, an immediate impact player, if you will, but there's a lot of potential there when you talk about the raw skill and athleticism. There'll be some things that need to be polished up, specifically what we talked about as far as coverage goes, but a good start for Knight there. Let's talk about the corners. The Auburn duo, DJ James and Jeremiah Pritchett, they arrived together, and it's so exciting to see what these two could potentially bring as they played together the last few years there with the Auburn Tigers, and now adding some depth to this corner room for Seattle. Macdonald had this to say about both of them. It's hard to tell with the tempo, but mentally not a lot of mistakes. They only know cover 3 and cover 4 right now. There's just a lot of things that we're going to be working on, but they're off to a good start. So good start for both these guys in that front as far as that goes. I'm really excited just to see these two develop together at the same time and where things go from here. And with Mike Jackson restructuring, there's not immediate pressure for these guys to make an instant impact. I highly doubt we're going to see either one of them starting at outside corner week 1. So if you give them time and let them acclimate and see how Mike Macdonald wants to do things, I think it's going to be a nice reward for what the Seahawks want to do with these two. Who's a winner from Seahawks Rookie Minicamp? We're going over the winners list right now. We got some losers to get to in a bit, but want to hear from you guys. Weigh in the comment section. Let us know what you think. We are talking about your Seattle Seahawks each and every day on Seahawks Today for the best offseason coverage around. As we went from the draft straight to rookie minicamp, now we're going to be talking about mandatory minicamp here pretty soon, OTAs, and counting you down all the way to training camp as well. We are your one-stop shop for all things Seattle Seahawks. Subscribe now, never miss a moment. Lock us in. Best part about it, absolutely 100% free. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV to subscribe now, and you will be glad you did. Next up, we find Mike Gerald, the last pick for the Seahawks in this year's draft in the 6th round out of Division II Findlay University. And with Gerald, I think we're all wondering, what exactly does his role look like? Who is he, for one? We know he dominated at the D2 level, but that's a huge jump, obviously, moving up to the professional football ranks. But this week, Jerrell had this to say about his rookie minicamp experience. It felt good playing at guard. Everything happened so fast. He played tackle there in college. I feel like it's the same thing as playing tackle. It's just that everybody is right there in front of you. Obviously, going up against a bigger guy, I think my speed and length at guard helps me a little bit. I didn't really have too much trouble just getting adjusted to it. So good for the Seahawks to have some flexibility of letting Gerald play some guard in his natural position, the tackle spot. The Seahawks need all the depth pieces they can get, all the guys they can compete. This is the biggest unknown from the draft for me. This is a guy that obviously slipped through the cracks, if you will, being a 6th-round pick. So there could be potential that we don't know with this guy, or he could flame out and not make that transition from D2. So we shall see. But a lot to figure out as far as that goes with Mike Gerald. I do like the flexibility, though. I think that's a big plus. All right, got to talk about Mike Macdonald. One of the things we mentioned in our preview a couple days ago leading into rookie minicamp was that with Mike Macdonald this weekend was going to be the first time that we saw him in actual coach mode, right? the last couple of months, it's been his involvement with John Schneider to put this roster together when it comes to a coaching staff and potential moves they've done in free agency and trades and all that. John Schneider's kind of been leading the way, right? And this was the first time where we got to see Mike Macdonald really be the man in charge. And one of the newest members of the Seahawks, Byron Murphy, spoke very highly about his new head coach, saying, I love Coach Macdonald. I feel like he's very demanding. I feel like I want to play for a coach like that, a coach that pushes me and wants to be great. I love it. And the reports this weekend were the vibes were very different compared to the Pete Carroll regime, if you will. We know about the infamous taking the pictures out in the facility, and that created some controversy. But even in practice this week, you didn't have the blaring music that we became so accustomed to the Pete Carroll era. So things are different, but sometimes change is necessary. That doesn't mean everything's going to be a bad thing. So I like that Mike Macdonald is taking this on with his mentality, his identity with this organization going forward. How would you grade the Seahawks rookie class? What do you think of this group? Let us know in the comment section. ABCDREF, what you think of the Seahawks rookies here, the first in the Macdonald-Schneider era here in Seattle. We'll go to the losers now. Talia Tagovailoa, the younger brother of Tua Tagovailoa, the Miami Dolphins quarterback. He was in for an invite this week, was not signed as UDFA, but did get a rookie minicamp invite, and ultimately he did not make the roster. The Seahawks evaluated him and decided to go a different direction. He's not getting a spot. I'm not surprised by this. I thought if the Seahawks were fully interested, fully invested, they would have signed him as UDFA to begin with, let alone just a tryout. So not surprised by this move. I'm sure that he'll get other opportunities elsewhere, but the Seahawks are going to be fine. I can live with this. Things are going to be okay. Jarran Reed, I'll say this. It's getting interesting for Jarran Reed, isn't it? Because the more and more we talk about Byron Murphy and then try to figure out all that money that Draymond Jones is making and some other things, where does that leave Jarran Reed in all this? Is it, it's one thing to move him to the bench potentially and make him a rotational piece. But when you talk about his contract situation and such, and the Seahawks' lack of money thereof, is it time to move on from Jarran Reed? The more that Byron Murphy impresses, the less there is for a Jarran Reed, if you will. So I can't imagine things have to be feeling very good for Jarran Reed as far as that goes. Last loser on this list is Trey Brown, because with Mike Jackson restructuring and the new Auburn bunch, those rookies of James and Pritchett stepping up, that leaves Trey Brown's future in question. And look, somebody's got to go in all this. And we've told you this before, that Trey Brown could be the odd man out for a number of reasons, but a potential trade chip, if you will, because he's got that starting experience. He's played at a high level before, and enough teams need corners. This might be a situation where the Seahawks say bye to Trey Brown potentially. So that'll be something to monitor as the Seahawks are looking for money. What does this all mean for Trey Brown? We'll continue to follow that going forward. Who is a loser from Seahawks Rookie Minicamp? We went over a few. Now we want to hear from you. Way in the comment section, give me a name or two that comes to mind. Maybe it's a specific rookie that you didn't think really impressed this past week. I know there was some injuries and some different things as well. Way in the comment section and let me know. Thanks for stopping by and joining us here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. Like the video to show some love for our new rookies here in Seattle. Certainly excited to have these guys on board and a part of what the Seattle Seahawks are doing here in 2024. Wish them the best of luck. Want to see them succeed. Like the video. We got plenty more coverage ahead over the next few days. Don't go anywhere. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time right here on Seattle Seahawks Today.